All right, people, welcome again to MG Sports TV, and this is a review of the Jamaica Premier League. And as you guys know, I've been covering for a while now, but because of the schoolboy football, come like say, me put it up on a back burner a little bit. Ball them cost me still say, hey, what go on? But apart from it, but today we're going to be joined with a new panelist. I think I first may have much panelists on the program. None other than the great himself, Mr. Speed. Welcome, Mr. Speed. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me, sir.
Oh, it's the New Year's treat, you know.
Good so far. I got to win the first match of the New Year's, so
Oh,
I'm
that
feeling
that good,
happy.
that good. Cause me know you close off it. Me know you kind of close off the 2022 with, and a bad foot, you know. But good to know you start off this one on a good foot.
No, I never so bad either. I mean,
Never so bad.
it could have been better, but never.
True. Everybody want for them to be better, better as well. But apartheid. But
Yeah.
what do you think about the start of this season? Do you think that all teams kind of started off a bit slowly this season?
Definitely. And I really don't know the reason why, because I thought that after such an excellent season last year, everybody would have started at more up tempo and geared to go. Arnett Garden actually started well. Montego Bay started well. So Harbour View. So there was some team that actually started with Harbour View. But I think after the break, you can see a lot of teams coming back somewhat and other teams catching up.
Yeah, me kind of allude to that as well. Cause it seems like the break, they kind of get a disrupting the momentum. I don't know if you play then go off and go get fat, all for food and go eat. Look like you play a role tonight.
Yeah.
But so far we started off we started up by this season on a good foot. I would say most of the results have been surprising. Last night I didn't get to see all the games, but last night I was at the first it was Portmore United, Harbour View, and earlier it was which game we played earlier? Molines,
Versus
Dunbeholden.
Dunbeholden.
Yeah, but over the period of this new year, I do think that everyone, it look like that every coach, every team, every club in Jamaica right now, I try to put them best foot forward, try to get it right. We're the aspect of team organization, points and getting points on board. So everyone is literally trying their best to get themselves on the best foot going forward. Now, Mr. Speed, in regards to a season this where relegation is a matter, relegation is an issue this season, how do you think that will impact coaching, the coaching element this season?
No, well, basically, there's a lot of factors here because first time you could decide that you're going to rebuild, you could take chances because you know there wasn't the relegation factor. Of course, you still have teams that are not thinking about relegation; they are thinking about winning all the time. So it wouldn't affect those teams in a party, But the other teams that usually lower down the rung, they will be thinking that they don't want to be relegated, merely because look, and everybody is saying it. If there was ever a time to be in football, is now. Now is even if you lose it. Now is when you have the most money going around the sports from FIFA all the way down. So this is the time you want to be in football in the highest level. So nobody wants to be relegated because it could be a long road back. Although with the advent of the tier 2, it is easier to come back. But nobody wants to get relegated because in the Premier League, you're guaranteed certain amount of money for your rights. If you go to any other league, those amount of money are not guaranteed. And you could just eventually lose all of your better players. So people are guarding against those.
Yeah, operational funding is actually a big factor in what all of these clubs are looking at. You know what I think I find interesting is that due to the vast amount of talent that is now at disposal in the Premier League, if a club should get relegated, would that be like a free-for-all market for the clubs who are looking to bolster their squad?
No. You'd have to still pay for the players because the players will
I
still
know,
be
but
on.
the price value for the players would be significantly dropped.
Not necessarily. Some players, I think the league has matured somewhat. So the good players will still be pricey. But the problem is the selling club will be under pressure because the players will be saying, I'm not staying in no matter what. So they'll be under pressure. So you're right. There could be an adjustment in the price, but I still think the better players will be able to come on a good price. I don't think it will affect it much.
Here why I think it is going to be affected. Because I do think that if a team should get relegated and drop into the tier 2, the operational funding that they would get on a monthly basis would significantly drop.
Yeah.
Sponsorship, maybe sponsorship.
But their budgets wouldn't be so high.
True, that is true. But will they be able to sustain paying all their better players that high amount of money throughout the season for a tier 2 competition?
No. So it happened to me like 5 years ago. So I can relate to it. We dropped down in the it was Super League at the time. And we had to really look through the list of players that we had and get rid of all of the high price one and the one who we think would have peaked already. So that's what we did. So we kept about 4 or 5 talented young ones and rebuild with those. So your budget cut, you'd have to cut the team and just look at the players who value for money. They will provide the value for money.
How difficult going back down to the lower tier, how difficult is it for to play one season trying to get back into the top tier? How difficult is it?
Well, a few teams have done it, but for you to do it, you'll have to have a really good youth system because there's always these 16, 17-year-olds who want to play for the senior team in the club. So in recent memory, the only 2 teams who have done it is Portmore and Cavalier. We came up at the next year, exact year, mainly because of our strong youth system and also players who used to play for the club before may have stepped aside, but now you drop back in the lower tier, they want to come back and help the club go up. So that is what happened to us. So like Baller Vibes, him just come back and say, Coach, I'm ready, I mean, Kyron Brock, they used to play for us in the Super League. Once we went to Premier League for 4 years, they didn't play Premier League, but once we dropped back down into Super League, they were, okay, Coach, we're ready again. And they help bring back up the team with a few new talents. So if you have a very good youth system and have a very good broad player base, even when you lose 20 players, you'll be able to come back if you have that sort of structure.
Oh, okay. That's understandable. You know one thing I intend to ask you about in regards to clubs and like their youth system, because someone was speaking to me the other day about Mount Pleasant, and the question that they asked me was how many players that Mount Pleasant have from their youth or their academy would have transitioned to the first team. And I couldn't answer the question really and truly because I can't really pinpoint. Now, for most of the Premier League clubs, how easy it is for some of those younger players to transition from the from the youth aspect, the under 20s, under 21 to the first team. How difficult is it? It's something that happens frequently, or they kind of really pay attention to it.
Well, there's clubs that have history of that. Portmore, Harbour. For us, it's not even under 21. We transition them after they play under 17. So for us, it's like easy. In any one of our squad, you will find 90% of our players played for us at the youth level, or more than 90%. As it relates to Mount Pleasant, there's a lot of players that came to the academy that played for Mount Pleasant. Christie, you have Devante, Campbell, Gainer. There's a lot of players. Mills, a lot of players came through. Unfortunately, though, they have not become a staple of the team. But a lot of players have come through the rank and have played for the senior team. They haven't really become staple. And maybe because of Mount Pleasant's ambition to win the league and they have not accomplished it, they kind of shelve some of those plans. But I can name at least 8 players that came to the academy and played for Mount Pleasant senior.
So regards to the development of our local Premier League, I can see that there's now a recent upsurge in regards to viewership, participation. It's not on a regular basis. It's kind of inconsistent. I can remember a time when I was younger that Premier League every Monday night, Premier League Jungle Ram every Monday night. No, but I can see that there is a vibe building around the Premier League coming back, and you can see that the marketing aspect of the Premier League has significantly improved and all of these things. Now, what do you think that needs to happen to the Premier League for us to bring it back at that level, that high vibe, that entertainment aspect of it?
Well, last year at the playoffs, you couldn't get it any better. Sabina Park was rocking full,
True.
and there were some really magnificent games, goals galore, thrills, top goals, not bungling goals, really top level goals scored, penalty, drama, everything was present in those playoffs. I think just the World Cup kind of sucked out all the oxygen out of our Premier League this year, and it's gonna take a little while to build back. So I'm not expecting it to build back just yet. I'm expecting after the end of the first round, maybe at the end of January. A lot of people haven't really, celebrated a Christmas holiday, a real Christmas holiday for 2 years.
True.
So they were intent on getting that celebration and visiting family and doing what they always do, because this is the first year since the pandemic, the place kind of free up. So I thought people were putting a lot more emphasis on all of those things. So based on that, I just think it's going to take a little while. As soon as the clubs sort out themselves as to who is the best and the second best and the third best, you're going to see those fans start turning out. So I just believe I'm going to give it another couple of more weeks before I start to see the crowd started to come back. One thing I know, though, that the quality of play is still pretty decent, but the clubs are not at their best yet. They are going to get back at their best in another 2 to 3 weeks' time. And then, once that happens, that the crowd will start to come back. So we have to get, the more social media, like what you are doing, get more people on board to publicize what is happening. And then I think that the Premier League will definitely come up back to the same level that it was last year and everything.
All right. Last question before getting to the results. So we have always on this platform discussed football quality now versus football quality 15, 16 years ago. In your perspective, you have been coaching for a long while. You have seen a lot of players. You have been a part of football for a long while. My camera just gone. You have been a part of football for a long while now. In regards to quality of play, do you think that we have seen a significant improvement in quality of play, or it remains the same since from back then, or even it regress? What's your thoughts on that?
So the truth is, in previous time, it was what used to happen. Every single team, whether it's a corner league, major league, super league, Premier League team, they used to have this one player who was exceptional when it comes to just how they play. I mean, they were skillful, entertaining. Everybody wanted to be entertained by that particular one. Every team had this one player. So you know that when you came to a game in the past, there's going to be some salads. There's going to be
some pie.
That is what passes about between the leg. There's going to be some pie. There's going to be some audacious, trying some new things from that special player that every team used to boast in those times. Over the years, you have seen the decline of those players. And it's not just in Jamaica. You have seen the decline of the classic number 10 all over the world. Those persons don't exist anymore. The thriller-minute person that every time pick up the ball, him start to work. Remember, until it was late, probably in the 1950s, before people actually start understand that football is not. They start to feature a lot of passing. First time one person get it, kick it up, next person was broke till and lose it, and somebody get it again and broke again till, right? That was how football was played before. So clearly, tactically, and the coaches, I think they are better. No, much better. I mean, you can see teams trying to achieve certain things in their tactics. You hear the coach talk about what they're trying to achieve, etc. So that is much better. Yes, the players are much fitter. I've seen old games and I've sat and watched. And mainly one of the reasons why the players are much fitter now is for the simple reason that they are now professional players, pure professional players who doesn't do anything else but play football. In the past, majority of players used to work and play. So they were part-time, big-time players. I mean, also, there's younger players now. All of the teams are younger. I mean, Jamaica Premier League is one of the youngest Premier League in the world. All of the teams are younger. I think you have a wider cross-section of capable players. First time you used to have a team and you could pick out the 3 players on the team who you say, okay, them 3 they are baller, but the rest are really just journeymen struggling. Now is not the same. Majority of the players are very good players. So I think that is a difference. Jamaica is really poised to become better. What we need is just better coaching, and I think you'll find we have the league just start to improve exponentially as we go on.
Yeah, me get a lot of it. It's like what you explained a while ago. Me really want to hear you say it because me get a lot of beating when me say it. Because I've said it now. I've said that football have improved significantly over the years. Then I say no, it's no ball there, no ball there. This and that. And me I say, how is it that football can improve, but yet still technology improve, coaching improve. When I play schoolboy football, my first 2 years schoolboy football I'm a PE teacher. Me play football. And my last 2 is actually a professional coach who was certified for the coaching. And that's something kind of know for play football. So me I say, how is it that we have coaches now who can coach, who are better coaches, who are certified to coach, and take control of every aspect of football now, but yet still football regress. I do think, as I said, Mr. Speed, individual players were back in the days, and bad ball of them, and people just having an head say, because they were that good back then, means that, boy, them could have just overthrow anybody. But if you check out now, everybody good. Everybody good. And then you would have this 1 and 2 exceptional players who just look weird. Like how last night we were watching a game and Kumi look different out of everybody else because of his technical abilities, his assertiveness, and his surety, security on the ball, as you said last night. So he look way better than most people. But I personally think that football has significantly improved from years ago. But people still in the head say, boy, this a man a bad baller back then, and I call some name. Then call out 1 10 or 15 players name. And it's not like a whole league him talk about. Out of nearly 400 players. So I'm glad you bring that up. All right, so we're going to touch upon the teams them over.
Well, just a point on that. So I watched the game that they said was the best Premier League game ever played before. That was the one between Waterhouse and Arnett, that 3-2 game. You remember that 3-2 game? Yeah. Maroons scored 3 goals, and I looked at the game. I looked at it very carefully. Pace was slow. Majority of those players couldn't run, with these young players now, these fast players. They would be out of start. Fitness level was low. I mean, it is that if those top teams play the top teams now, the score wouldn't be pretty. I'm telling you.
You know, it's fun that you said that. So I went to a Waterhouse training session, and I was there like them train was twice a day. I was there in the morning, and the intensity of me see them train at it come like a track and field game, like a strict sprinting from the training session start them a sprint until the training session end, and I'm like, I wonder if that's sustainable. Then no, the last season, I think it was the quarterfinals, Waterhouse and Arnett. Anyone who was at that game, watching that game, clearly can say by halftime, if you're a fan in the stadium, you're tired. The intensity, the pace of the football game, you're tired. Just by watching the game, you're supposed to tired. By celebrating, you're supposed to tired. And I tell people that the intensity and tenacity that the game is being played at right now is significantly high. And because you're watching on TV, where it moves slow, you can't say anything you want. But when you're there the game, the tempo of the ball pass. It come like a shot, man, like a shooting man and shoot the ball at each other.
The players have much more ambition now. They want to go overseas and play football. They're not joking around when they're playing. They have much more ambition. It's not like first time where players just represent their community. That's not the case anymore. Man just want to play 2 years and go overseas. So them giving it them all.
True. The tempo high, man. The tempo high. Even last night, the Portmore United versus Harbour game. High.
Yeah.
High. All right, so the first game we'll touch on, Mr. Speeder, Falkland versus Waterhouse. So Waterhouse defeat Falkland 1-0. Now, slow start for Waterhouse this season. Slow. If your team will go so through the last season, there were all their statistics, all their underlining statistics, they were in favor of Waterhouse, like clean sheet, defensive, goals conceded, all them kind of something there. But there's a big upsurge now where it like just turn around for them, where they can't get a result. Can't get them footing together. Falkland will come up a struggle for finding them footing in the Premier League. Being exposed to such a high level of football, first night in history. What do you think about the Waterhouse team so far? Performances so far, Mr. Speed.
Well, they have gone through a huge transformation. They have lost a lot of players, first team players. I mean, they lost their manager to Dunbeholden. Dunbeholden probably have about four of their players over there. They lost players to, I think, Mount Pleasant too. So, what Waterhouse is in a rebuilding stage. I think it's probably deliberate, and they really want to rebuild. But I must tell you that when I saw the team, they still have enough quality for them to surge. So I expect the Waterhouse surge to come at some point in the season. So they are not doing so bad now. They are like 8, 10. I mean, they are just really 4 points. I mean, less than 2 games behind sixth position. So I'm expecting the Waterhouse surge, but they start off real bad. But I think they'll come back.
A bad start for Falkland. Being exposed, as I said, to the higher level. What do you think about the Falkland team so far?
Well, so far Falkland have been struggling because apparently the quality of players is not as good as they should have. They probably should have gone out and bought more. They're not gonna be helped now because their coach has left to go on a B license coach, the A license coach in Trinidad, so he's gonna be away for about 2 weeks. So that's not gonna help him in any way. So well, it might help. I don't know if it was a cold fault, then it would help. But they are up against it. They have conceded 22 goals, only scored 5. They have only drawn 1 game. They have won no game. Just like Jamaica, they haven't won a game since the season started. It's difficult for you to turn around your season from last. I mean, and so far last. But, we have seen stranger things. I know they are in the market trying to get some additional player. So let us see what happens. But they are up against it.
All right. Mount Pleasant, 5-1 defeated Montego Bay. Montego Bay, as we mentioned earlier, started off really, really good. And then now, kind of just they kind of be a little decline. I'm not sure what happened. Mount Pleasant really, really having a good start of the season so far. You think that this might be their season?
Well, just go back to Montego. Yes, they got a good start. I know that Donovan Duki was new there, got the players to work with him. He's such a very good, astute and pragmatic coach that his system actually worked, and he was leading the league. Mount Pleasant started slow. People was questioning the pedigree of Mount Pleasant, when they just started. But I think they really get into top gear. I think they won like 5 games in a row now, straight. Scoring 5 goals, 3 goals. You have to take things into perspective, which I've learned to do over the years. Most of their big victories have been at home, on their home venue. The 2-5 and the 3-1, so 13 goals and no scoring 3 matches on their home venue. The 3-1 against Tivoli Garden. So when you put all of those into perspective, you say, okay, let me see what you do when you come out of your home now and play abroad. So that is what I'm waiting for. But the problem with this league, you can win that league, as Waterhouse will tell you a lot of times. Look like the Galacticos, look like them unbeatable, nobody gonna stop them. This is not a league. It's a league, then a knockout. You have to win the knockout.
That a tough part, yes. That's a tough part. Yeah, Trevante Sword now, a man on fire for Mount Pleasant. Last season he really didn't have the best season, but it seems like it's fine. He's shooting both. Hopefully, Montego Bay, Duki can really, really find something. Come back. For me
again,
personally,
he's away on his A license course in Trinidad, so he's gonna be away for 2 weeks again. So Montego Bay would have lost him at the wrong time. So let's see what happens.
Well, bad time. I know I'm supposed to be on it. Right now, I don't think you can study in peace. All right, so Cavaliers, the big bad Cavaliers, 3-0 over Tivoli. I think Tivoli not much of a slow start. I think Tivoli start in the OK region, but a big hit for Tivoli for me is when they lose your goal scorer in Stephen Barnett. A big hit for me personally. He's a player that I really, really like. I love how him play. I really love how him play. He's a dangerous striker. Fortunately, Dunbeholden get him, but Dunbeholden now provide the chances for him. Watch him yesterday. How did that game pan out for you? I know you're supposed to still a smile from that win, but how did that game pan out for you?
Well, it was a difficult game for us because first we lost Dwayne Atkinson before we kick a ball. We had to pull him from the starting lineup because he was feeling a little twinge. And we didn't want to risk him because, he's one of our better players. And any day now somebody could come from overseas and say, I want this player. So we say, okay, you know what, it's not worth it. So we just pull him from the starting lineup and didn't put him on the field any at all. So we were pretty pleased that I think that may have, I don't know, maybe they fall into a false sense of security because he wasn't there. They actually dominated the early exchanges, but then the modern game, as we were talking about, is different. If teams are more able to play without the ball, and we are one comfortable team without the ball. Although we are attacking team, we are comfortable without the ball. We know what to do, so we're very comfortable without the ball. And then the right moments we strike, and that was what was the difference between both teams. I thought.
Yes, a good question I need to ask you because for years now, I know how you play. You're more likely to be, you love to be on the ball, you love to dominate the ball. Now, this season, what I've seen from your team is that you guys seem, as I said, a bit more comfortable now without the ball. Is this a deliberate strategy being deployed because you're going to be playing against teams sometimes where you know that, hey, they're not good at the ball, let's give them the ball and pull them apart?
So let me give you one secret. Is that I don't mind, sure, because my thing is always to make other people understand the game and better the country. So I'm doing the final part of my A license. So when I went there, the first thing was my project was to score more goals. What do I do with the ball when I'm in possession? That was I took that as my topic, right? So last year I scored 1.3 goals per game. So this year I said I was going to score 1.8 goals per game, right? Of course, I'm scoring at 2.1 or 2.2.
Yeah.
So, but that's what my project, my A license project, to increase the scoring rate and and still keep my defense, because I'm usually good at defense. You scored less than 1 goals. So that was my project. So what happened now is that what the research that I did was, what do I do when I have possession? So it don't even matter to me how little I have or how much. It's just what do we do when we have possession at different parts of the field. And I've worked on it throughout the season, the preseason and throughout the season, and it's paying dividends. So that is why we're scoring so much goals now. And it don't even matter if you dominate me, because we learn to work without the ball too. So it's a project that we have been working on it and practicing day in, day out, and it seems to be paying now. So we can play both ways, either keep the ball or use it when we get it.
So is this a new phenomenon for you where you learn how to adapt to this principle?
Yes, because in our course, we also learn things that are peculiar to CONCACAF. So like one of the things I will learn is that we're the second laziest set of people in the world. which means we react more than act. So if you're playing transition, you're likely to get out the teams. And also there's the point that our midfielders, they pass the ball and stand up. So those are some of the things that we work on to change the dynamics. And it seems to be working so far from us, merely because the truth is we only have 12 or 13 professional players. All the rest of the players are amateur.
Yeah, true. Well, it seems to be bearing fruit.
Yeah, it is.
Hats off to the A license course in making it a bit more diverse.
It did that.
So, Veer United and Umberline, Loch Nillal, I'm finding Umberline has changed team to analyze, because when I watch them, I can see what they're trying to do, but I don't really understand what them do. So them try, I don't really understand. Veer kind of just a move, because when Donovan Duke was there, they kind of a pragmatic approach, sit back, catch on the counter. It seems like them try move away from that style of play, because in football, if you don't go at goal, you're not going to win. You can't score. And it kind of put them in a bad position last season. I mean, look like now they might try to get themselves back. Game Ed Nilal, what do you think about both teams so far? I do think that would actually be an even matchup between both teams.
No, it don't matter though. It don't matter where Umberline is and where Veer is. This is a derby game. So it's going to always be close. And I think that's what happened, because all these players know each other so well. But when you look on the Umberline setup, though, which I'm playing next, Umberline actually have a lot of veteran players. True. You see, when I think about veteran players, you see, once they get a level of fitness, which I suspect they have now, they know how to avoid defeat because of years of practice. They know how to avoid problems. They know how to play safe, etc. And that is what I think is the paradox that you're watching in the Umberline's team. It probably not so much the plan, but more like the players know what to do because they have done it 100 times. When you look at a lot of these players that play for Cumberland, they have played like 250 Premier League games already. So that amount of experience is really, hard to beat. And that is what I've seen them. They are very resilient now. They're able to get victories if you give them the chance. I mean, they beat, some of the Arnett Garden, they beat. So this is what I'm seeing from the Cumberland team. So I expect them to be one of the toughest team to beat this year. Not that they can't be beaten, but they'll be one of the toughest team to beat this year.
All right. Arnett defeated newcomers 5-0. Chapelton Maroons. Saw T got yesterday, and I said T got both Arsenal and both teams with A. Both teams with A seems to be smashing teams about, and him smile and laugh and said, no man, both games were good games, and both teams that came to play against the teams with name A came and represented themselves well. But that defeat, for me personally, when I look at the starting lineup, you had quite a few, I think about 3 or 4 of the schoolboy footballers starting the team, and based off the reports that I got, I found out that Arnett find a weak spot and then just utilize the weak spot there, and that's how they kind of hurt Chapelton Maroons. Well, what do you think about the Arnett team so far? Do you think that they're finding the right momentum going forward?
Well, I think Chapelton Maroon was just obsessed with the number 5 the whole week. Probably that's why I didn't get.
Hey, we just read it. Yeah, there was a big issue with the 5. Read the 5, and it came public, and everybody was discussing. And see there, turn out and get 5, but apartheid still.
Yeah, no. The truth is this. Let me explain. A lot of people don't understand. Playing schoolboys by itself, if they don't have any experience, is difficult. Very difficult to do. Because when I remember I went to Sweden once and I was playing against a under-17 team. But on my team, I had Paris and Niku and Topi and Chanil Thomas. These boys was playing Premier League already, right? So they were trying to play out of the back, because it's the style they're trying to invent in Sweden. Because they used to be a long ball teams. And my players just rushed them. Now, the pace that my players close them down at is very much different from what they are used to in their league. So we were able to give them 6-0. So it's the same thing. Just throwing schoolboys in a team against a team like Arnett, who is up-tempo and run hard and aggressive and all of that, it's going to be very difficult for you to contain them. And this Arnett Garden team is aggressive. Parker Blacks, I think, is coming back to form. Last year, he wasn't as fit as always this year. He's much fitter this year, and that's a striker. He knows how to score goals off anything. And so I thought that was a baptism for those young players to run up into Arnett Garden. It was rampant, wanted to come back because they were struggling. And I just thought that it could have been worse. So Chapelton really have to look into themselves and look again and see if that's what they want to do. The good thing is that they are 11th, so they are not really in the relegation zone. So
they're still in a comfortable position.
Yeah, they could still keep on trying to these people. But it was a baptism that they get, the youngster. And I think the youngsters have quality.
So because someone showed me some clips of the game, and they really, really play some good football. Unfortunately, defensive-wise, you could see that there are aspects to work on.
Yeah, and again, because of the difference in what the Arnett people know. Because if you look at the Arnett Garden forward line, those are very, very experienced players who have played
Harbour,
hundreds of matches over here. Parker Black has scored over 50 odd goals. I mean, he's not a chicken by any,
hold him, how much?
Parker, I think it's 32.
Oh.
But 32 is still, if you're fit,
No, but remember, if you're a striker, remember, most of the most lethal striker in the world right now. Overseas, they're in the 30, 31, 32 region.
Right.
When them do less running and more finishing.
Yeah. And I mean, with the guy that always do the trickery, him is a tricky player too.
Deacon.
Yeah. It will be difficult, man. It's a baptism. Some of the goals that were scored, I thought, they could have done better. Like the one that Ajuma Johnson score, he just roll going at the goal. Some of them could have been better, but yeah.
For me, still, I think it was a baptism of fire. I do think that based off the quality, because these players are actually good quality. After gaining more experience and more playing time, I do think that they're going to be ready to match up to the level still. But it's one who's going to be interesting to see. I'm going to go up on the next game, which is the next game. Molines versus Dunbeholden. Molines defeated Dunbeholden 1-0. To me, personally, I was watching the game, and at the start of the game, I thought personally that Molines, I couldn't understand what Molines was doing. Dunbeholden had a bit more structure, holding possession a bit better. But I do think that Dunbeholden don't provide enough chances for their strikers. When I look at the striker moving in position, there's always a delay in midfield. Christian a very good passer, but sometimes I think he take one too many touches, which kill the player. At one point I saw like Barnett break into the line, and as soon as McCarthy passed the ball to Christian in a channel, all Christian had to do was just play the ball in the angle, and he cut it back, take another touch, and then he switch the player, and the chance was dead. And Barnett was frustrated. He was very, very upset. But one thing for sure, what I realized that Molines did, they apply a lot of pressure onto the Dunbeholden defense, and that's how they crack. They keep on punching the ball in the channels. They punch the ball in the wide channels and forcing it long. The goalie, the goal scorer, Jason Wright, because he's so physical and stout. Every ball they punch at him, he wins it. He wins it in the chest, play it off, and that's how they do it over and over repeatedly. I mean, if Dunbeholden never figure it out, they consistently do it over, and that's exactly how them get them goal. So far this season, what do you think about the results? What do you think about both teams?
Well, Molines actually made one huge adjustment. Well, two adjustments to the team that was mauled 5-0 by Mount Pleasant. They got back their captain and goalkeeper, right? Because remember, the goalkeeper that kept against Mount Pleasant, that conceded a 5, he's fired. He's not even there anymore. So they made that change. They also moved Roshan, I think his name is Roshan, from central midfield and put him at the back to play centre half, which is the captain. I think Roshan, no, he didn't captain it. Yeah, I think he captained the team yesterday, Roshan. He's the one who is probably their best defender. So they had him playing central midfield during the season. So now they put him back at centre half. Those were two good changes. And then when you look at the Dunbeholden is coming to me like the Spain of the World Cup. They want to pass, but you have to penetrate at some point. And you're so correct. They didn't try to penetrate often enough to create those additional chances so they could score a goal. And I think that is what is plaguing them now, that they are in 9 position. They have only scored 6 goals and conceded 7. Which is really uncharacteristic of Dunbeholden. Last season, Dunbeholden was like second most of the time. So
yeah, you think the aspect of a striker like a Bygrave would have played a big part in that?
Definitely. Bygrave is not there. Kayoza Lin was gone. Also, the other scorer is coming off the bench. He's not even starting. McGregor, because I think he's plagued with injuries. So, but also, McCarthy would have been 1 year older. The other player you talk about would have been 1 year older too. They are the midfield engine. But Dunbeholden, even from last year, wasn't so penetrative. They won most of the match by 1-0. Now you'd have thought that they would have added like Thomas on the flank, would have made one left. Those people come over from Waterhouse. Well, I didn't see the other player that they took from Waterhouse, Benbow. He wasn't anywhere to be found. Right. So it looked to me like they're still not settled yet. Then there was the coach from last year came back. I remember he didn't start the season. Yeah, he didn't start the season with the team. So I'm thinking that, Paul Christie has left as the manager. Of course, they replaced him with the lady that used to be at Waterhouse. But it looks to me like administratively they haven't got it put together. And it probably is affecting the performance on the field, because the team that they have is as good as probably any team in the Premier League, man for man, pound for pound.
I think
so. I'm disappointed in their results so far.
So the final results of the match week, Portmore United won, Harbour won. You said something earlier, Reed, the experience of the player of the Umberland team, vast experience. No, we're going to speak about an experienced player and I've seen him have numerous man of the match performances so far. Rudolph Austin. How pivotal is he right now to this Portmore United team?
So I was doing a coaching course when Rudolph was a part of it, and he said to me that he have to leave early because he's going to play. He's going to start in the game. He has to start because apparently, he was a player coach actually, for Portmore United. That was what he came there initially. He was supposed to be the assistant and he played sometime. But he has had to be playing almost all the games now because apparently there was an injury to a centre half and he had to do duties. I think the game was against Mount Pleasant.
Early in the season.
Yeah, early in the season. And he put on a masterful performance in that game. I was able to draw the match 0-0. I think it was 1-1. I think it was 0-0. And from ever since he has been playing. Now, what I have seen with the Portmore team is that they are so pragmatic. They decided that, listen, we weren't going to give away anything. So they have gone to the 5 at the back. I wouldn't say it's 3 at the back. I think it's more like 5-3-2 they play, not 3-5-2. Because, the wing backs do push up, especially the right back, who's another Austin. But they play very well. They pass the ball very well, and they don't make mistakes. And that is one of the things that I say. So you can see that they come and they work for every single point. They are one of the unbeaten teams. Harbour was also unbeaten, but you can see that Portmore is much more pragmatic. They play within their limitations. Austin is just like a general out there. He controls everything. He's aggressive. He's stopped playing central midfield where he has to run up and down and start to play centre where he can afford to rest his 37-year-old's leg and play again. Rest and play again. Rest and play again. So, but every single play that is involved in that is a top play by him, top move, nullify the attacks. And I think that is the reason why Portmore is doing so well and able to step up to.
A player that both of us were discussing last night was the young kid Satchel, skillful player, but you can see that he's still ready to reach up to the tempo. Do you believe that because Portmore plays so pragmatic, a bit defensive, and they use a lot of the width, that's one of the reasons why they added a youngster like that who's full of flair and at that high threat level? Because I think Portmore United made take about 7 shots in the entirety, and out of the 7 shots, he has about 4 of them. So do you think that with the addition of that young man Satchel, that's one of the reasons why they are such a type of player out wide? So even when the team is under a bit of pressure, they punch the ball to him long, and he maybe hold on to the ball a little bit, give the team that you become like that outlet for the team. Do you think that addition is a good one? Also, do you think he's something to look forward to for the season?
Well, if you ask me personally, I can see how talented he is because he is. But I could see him struggling a lot of times to play at his best because his fitness level was just not the same of a Premier League standard. I don't think he's strong enough. You could say that his physical frame is not a Premier League frame. Is not strong enough.
He went down a lot. He went down quite a few times.
Right, and he went down a lot. I would have probably, bring him on every half hour near the end till he starts to get stronger because he will eventually. But so his quality was not consistent all the time. That's the problem. And then he struggles to defend because again he started. But I saw what Portmore was doing. He was attacking him almost. He was playing almost like a left winger, while Austin would play almost like a right winger, right back.
Right back.
So
that's how they pass.
Yeah. So that's how they get the balance. And Scott would have been in the middle, but Scott got some chances. Maybe the difference should have been to trust the youngster and put him in the middle because he has his skill. He's much more skillful than Scott is. And maybe one of those chances you'd probably be able to put them.
You would have put them away.
I think they're trying to just work him in, give him. But I would have bring him on with half hour to go and not started him if it was me. But he's a really good player though, and I hope they're playing him.
Yeah. Because when I was watching Portmore United, I realized that the first 2 times he played was they gave him like roughly 15 minutes, and surprisingly he played like about 75 to 80 minutes of football last night. So I'm not sure. Maybe they are trying to give him enough game time for him to bill him. To let him bill wide. I'm not sure if that's the right thing. I'm not sure if that's the right thing. But the coach must have had a plan.
That's one method. That's one method. That's why I said I wouldn't do that. That's one method. You see, one of the things you don't want players with this talent to be playing in the red zone and people tackling them up and then them get injured because him not strong enough to withstand certain things. And if he must start stretch and his body start stretch, then it's easier for him to get injured. So that is something that they could do. But the games that I would start him in is the lesser games, not with the defending champions. I would start him in lesser games where the pressure is not as much. So like maybe a Falkland or Jamaica, I would say, okay, you are going to start it today. Because clearly he's a special talent and he has to be nurtured.
Yeah, unique. And I think that would complete all the games over the weekend. Victory for Waterhouse, Mount Pleasant, Cavaliers, Arnett, Molines, and Portmore United. Let me see. So as the table stands, Portmore United, Mount Pleasant on 20 points, Cavaliers on 16, Harbour 15, Arnett 14, Portmore United 14, and Lion 14, Moby United 12, Waterhouse 10, Dunbeholden 9, Molines 9, Chapelton Maroons 7, Tivoli 6, Veer United 5, and Falkland 1. So those are the points standing as is, people. And Mr. Speed said you only can spend an hour, so more than likely a film time this now. So Mr. Speed, thank you very much for coming on. Hopefully we can get it on again another time for one more review or another preview. Interesting to get your insight. You don't know your football brain, so it's always good. So thank you very much for coming on, Mr. Speed, and hopefully I'll see you again and have you on the program again.
No problem, anytime. Thank you for having me.
All right, bless up.
All right, fresh God.
People in the comment section, massive respect. As you know, Arsenal is playing right now. Strangely, this was slated to happen at this point in time. Unseen, Jano sir. Tempo not tempo. It's just physicality in which he can sustain knocks. True. Unseen. I close off now. Because you don't know the time. Go people, before you go, please smash the like button. Because I'm going to watch Arsenal match right away. Anyways, people, this has been the review, the Jamaica Premier League review, people. Match week, I think match week 7 are yet? I think that's 7 people. Preview will be done on Friday. The preview will be done on Friday, people. So look forward to the preview. Anyways, hopefully you guys are doing good. And I'll see you guys again. Until next time, people. MG Sports TV. This has been the Premier League preview. Oh, let me touch a small. So Alex Marshall, possible at present moment, back to he's in Jamaica. Premier League is the move likely to make. One of the first place that was touted would have been Harbour View. Quite a lot of friends at Harbour View. These are one of the first clubs. Also, there's other clubs looking at him. Really eyeing him and to see if they can bring in something. Could be more pleasant, could be Dunbeholden, but we will see, people. We're still keeping our eyes on this one, Alex Marshall. We're keeping our eyes on it to see where it's going to go and what he has to produce within the Jamaica Premier League. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are saying that this shouldn't happen, this or that. But people, this is football. Anything is likely to happen in football. So people, massive respect, big up. Hopefully you guys are doing good. And I'll see you guys again. Until next time, MG Sports TV, people. We are out. Boom.